For example, personally, I really love a woman with a good sense of humor. I think it's attractive when a woman is good with children. Story 1. Accommodation. I use a wheelchair, and a woman who sits down so that I don't have to look up at her when we're having a conversation without a prompt from me is very attractive. I guess you could call that being considerate too. Story 2. I'm in the early stages of a relationship right now. Obviously, her looks played a big factor, but what has me starting to feel genuine emotions towards her is her kindness, honesty, and matching sense of humor. She is able to have real conversations and engage with me on more than just a flirty level. She has an intriguing sense of being realistic and will act insecure and open about her intrusive thoughts. However, she also openly admits when it's baggage or overthinking, and I truly adore that about her. I'm almost worried I'm falling faster than I normally would because past relationships were more about me becoming accustomed to someone rather than sincerely liking, respecting, and being comfortable with them. Story 3. Sometimes a woman's voice can make me weak in the knees. A little while ago, the voice through the drive-through intercom made my heart skip a beat. When I drove up to the window, it was not the owner of the said voice, and I was quite disappointed. Story 4. The little things. How she giggles at a dumb joke. The way she is effortlessly cute chilling in sweatpants. The way she furrows her brow trying to figure something out. Story 5. A desire to experience rather than just witness or be a part of life. I'm going to have a hard time explaining it any better than that, as it's a whole life outlook and way of taking on the world. On a simpler note, I also really like women who like to cuddle. Story 6. A woman who actually seems interested in what you have to say. I'll never forget the feeling when my now wife listened to me talk for probably an hour about a childhood event that really impacted me. She enthusiastically listened and asked questions. It was a breath of fresh air, and I never saw her the same after that. I tried doing a similar thing with other women, and all the rest would eventually change the subject and make it about them. Story 7. Beyond looks, qualities like intelligence, kindness, and confidence can be incredibly attractive. For me, I find it compelling when someone is passionate about their interests or causes. It is engaging to see someone who is enthusiastic and driven, whether it is about their career, hobbies, or making a positive impact in the world. Story 8. Someone who treats both big celebrities and rich people and service workers, street kids, and generally small people as just people. So attractive. Story 9. Being an introvert followed by intelligence, femininity, traditional, good listener, simple, humility, kindness, voice, communication, patience, empathetic, honesty, loyalty, manners, and being shy for me. Story 10. If they do active things. Lots of girls seem to pretend or force themselves to like hiking or working out. It's a major bonus when they actually like it and want to go do things. Story 11. How they describe things and their eyes light up as they get excited about telling stories. How they are just in their zone and vibing. Sometimes they're singing or dancing at random times, out of the blue, to celebrate. Story 12. Just curious, when the men on here say sense of humor, do they mean that the woman is funny and makes them laugh, or a woman that laughs at their jokes and doesn't get offended? I am honestly curious. Story 13. Here's my quick ideal wife list. Accountability, communication, consistency and integrity. Kind and be curious, not judgmental. Intelligence and wisdom, self-sufficiency, gravy, humor, still able to dish it out when deserved. Comfortable being alone. Story 14. Accountability and humility. These qualities are rare in the women of my country. I would be instantly attracted to a woman who takes responsibility for her actions and is humble enough to admit her mistakes. I don't care even if she is a 3 out of 10 in looks if her personality is amazing. Sadly, these things are considered high standards these days. Story 15. Blunt communication. Cannot read your mind. Tell me what got you excited and how we can keep the party going. Tell me why you're mad and how we can fix it together. Tell me if you need a hug. Tell me everything. We're in this together, and communicating is the only way in or out of trouble. Story 16. If she treats people with warmth and respect, especially elderly people, It's attractive because you know she has a motherly instinct to care for people, and maybe if you're lucky, she will care for you. Volunteering her time instead of shopping and drinking all the time is also attractive. Good taste in music is very appealing. I find many women listen to poor quality music. Being able to turn a frown upside down and see the positive in situations instead of getting impatient and upset is also nice. Doing things for herself instead of feeling entitled to having others do things for her, and fixing her own problems independently like an adult is really attractive in many ways. General goofball energy is also a beautiful thing. Story 17. Alright, maybe a bit of a plain response, but shared interests and hobbies. It at least helps find mutual things to do together for one thing, but that's probably not all. However, it does help make them more attractive in ways that aren't necessarily based on looks. Story 18. Curiosity and willingness to indulge it. I don't care if you are not smart. Hell, neither am I. I just find someone exploring what they think is interesting attractive as hell. Story 19. Being funny and loving to laugh. Bad delivery, comedically speaking, is a huge turnoff unless it's intentionally bad delivery. Then I just burst out laughing on the spot. Story 20. A woman of substance, true grit, assertive, a partner, independent and supportive when the need arises, intelligent and someone comfortable in their own skin. Story 21. Humility and down-to-earthness. These are probably the most attractive traits for me, even more so than looks. Nothing is more unattractive to me than a big ego and being superficial. Story 22. Also, humor, but more than that, someone with whom we can seemingly talk about anything. It's hard to describe, but with the right person, it doesn't really matter if there isn't much going on. You still find things to talk about and enjoy talking to each other. Story 23. Confidence, patience, self-esteem, kindness, understanding, intelligence, and a fluid worldview. Being able to easily view different perspectives. Story 24. My girlfriend is kind of silly, pretty smart, patient, understanding, loving, and considerate. And she's like that with everyone. She isn't kind to me because I am her boyfriend. She's kind to me because she's kind to everyone. And that really makes me love her even more. Story 25. When they are self-aware and aware of their surroundings. If they can recognize when they are acting or being a certain way and understand what is going on around them. Two different situations. Story 26. Women who understand that not everything has to have a higher purpose, who don't take themselves too seriously, who are clumsy, and who can have a normal conversation without trying to second-guess what I really mean by what I just said. I'm simple and don't take myself too seriously. If I meant it otherwise, I'd have said it. Take it at face value, please. Story 27. Strength, independence, competence, and someone who doesn't crumble or rely much on me during a crisis. Always a refreshing change of pace when things go wrong and you aren't immediately expected to fix everything. I would take a partner who can share my burdens and responsibilities over being feminine and nurturing any and every day. Story 28. A woman who always pays her half wherever we go, or we take turns paying full each time we go out. There is nothing worse than a lazy woman who mooches off the person she is dating. Story 29. If she has a work ethic and isn't afraid of getting her hands dirty. I work a labor-intensive job, so when a woman works hard and doesn't complain like most of the men, I find it thoroughly entertaining. Story 30. Emotional intelligence involves being able to express what one truly feels. Too many people conceal their emotions nowadays or don't speak up for fear of judgment or cruelty from their own partners. Story 31. A friend of mine consolidated our leftover late-night chicken fingers into one container so I could take it home, and I realized I was staring dreamily at her the whole time. Story 32. I like directness. I really like a woman who knows what she wants from a man. I'm very turned on by women who believe in themselves and feel sexy to themselves. Story 33. Sense of humor 100%. Also, kindness, which results in a person I love to laugh with and someone I feel safe being vulnerable with. That's the dream, at least. Story 34. I like women who are nice and with whom I have a close relationship, but for looks, I'd go with not sexy because I always feel uncomfortable seeing sexy clothing for women. Story 35. A woman who truly engages in good faith with the conversation, even if she doesn't know much about it. Most women I've encountered aren't unintelligent. They just don't care enough to engage with topics that don't interest them. It's easy to tell. Just wait and see if they actually ask you a question that an outsider to the topic would ask. Story 36. Her femininity, tenderness, kindness, loving nature, submissiveness, empathy, taking care of herself, and signs she could be a good mother. But I must be physically attracted first. I would like to look at my wife and find her the most attractive one. Story 37. Awesome sense of humor, family-oriented. These two things are a must for me. I'm huge on family. My kids, parents, brother, nephews, even several ex-in-laws I still maintain regular contact and hang out with. And a sense of humor, so long as the occasion doesn't call for a serious attitude. I typically live and breathe sarcasm. Story 38. Bubbly personalities will catch my attention. Kindness will allow me to approach you with confidence. And honesty will get you my phone number. You would be surprised how many women these days lack all four. Story 39. Young may have emotional intelligence and possess empathy towards you. It makes me more attractive if one of them has that, and it's just cute when they are concerned about you. Story 40. Kindness and empathy are generally attractive. Everything else is case by case. I don't necessarily think intelligence and humor are attractive per se, for example, because these are more difficult to gauge and not something I specifically look out for. Story 41. Humor, some say women aren't funny, but some really are, not at the expense of others. If they are passionate or knowledgeable about something, but not in a I'm very smart way, it's really attractive. Story 42. Being angry without tearing down someone, using their insecurities or things said in confidence to hurt them just because she is angry. Sadly, most women do not have that. Story 43. I've dated a number of single mothers, and seeing a mother care for her children is something special to me. The relationship between a mother and child is something special to behold. Story 44. Passion for not just the intimate but for hobbies and interests. Dated an awesome girl who was into hockey, Jersey rock and alternative bands, powerlifting, and Green Bay. We would go to concerts, hockey games, lift weights, and have long conversations about politics and social issues. She liked whiskey and had tattoos for every passion she held. It was intoxicating being with her. If I knew then what I know now, we would definitely still be together. Story 45. The ability to banter and hold an interesting conversation is so rare, or I've just been unusually unlucky in my life in that regard. I recently went on a date with a woman I seemed to have a rapport with, and trying to converse with her was like pulling teeth. Story 46. My wife actually laughs at my terrible jokes, and I find it very attractive. Our friends have picked up on the fact that she finds me funny, and I think that says a lot about them. Story 47. Gentleness, that unique air of femininity that many women, but not all, exude. A good sense of humor and fun, curiosity, and most importantly, a love for animals. Story 48. I've dated a few women where this was a problem, but actually caring beyond what I could provide. If a woman actually demonstrates that she cares how I'm feeling, or even better, she cares that I'm okay, it's a massive attraction. Story 49. Humor, sensitivity, tolerance, and for a weirder one, smell. I have nothing against sweat. In fact, I feel like it's the natural signature and perfume of someone. Depending on the individual, it changes, and I like it. Story 50. Consistent showing of pragmatic life skills and generally knowing how things work, for example, but not limited to driving a stick shift. Knows how to start the gas mower in spring. Cooks well using a variety of styles and techniques, such as deep frying, steaming, braising, and grilling. Can properly and fairly negotiate with contractors or for large purchases. Can hook up a trailer safely or change a tire. Speaks another language well enough. Has CPR and first aid or lifeguard certifications. Has trained their dog. Can mend clothes. Grows vegetables. Can change a car battery or properly and safely jumpstart a car. Can tie off a boat at the dock properly. Has basic martial arts skills or knowledge of pressure points in the body. Can properly prep and paint a room. Knows how to remove a tick. Story 51. Truly taking interest in my interests. Having her actually put effort into setting aside time to listen and learn about what makes me happy. Whether it is a podcast I am listening to or a video game I am playing. Maybe it is even YouTube videos I watch. That is so attractive. Story 52. Woman here, I wish I could believe other qualities than looks get you ahead. I have been at society's ideal weight for a year now and curvy. How I was treated a year ago versus now is night and day. My marketing business is excelling, and I notice the more time I spend on myself, workouts, fashion, makeup, the more I make. I used to spend lots of time creating strategies and working on solutions for clients, but it turns out if I look the part, that gets me further. Story 53. Being true to themselves, having a caring and loving personality, getting along with my family and not being sneaky, loving animals and kids, and not being scared to show true colors like laughter and smiles. I don't know. I just want a girl who doesn't care what people think about her and loves everyone as much as she wants to be loved. In other words, she hates, loves, and is kind. I want a girl who is raised right. And if I get criticized for saying this, then shame on those people because these are choices, not requirements. You can choose to be loving, caring, and kind. You don't have to be mean. Yes, everyone gets hurt, but why take it out on people? And why judge someone for something they can't fix? Maybe they're insecure about themselves, or maybe they have some trouble at home that is affecting them. What I've learned is to love everyone equally, even if those people don't do the same to you. Be caring and check on people. It's not normal to give hugs to people we don't know. But what if we make it normal? I know I need a hug all the time, but I never get one. So I hug my dog. That's who my therapist is. He doesn't speak, but he understands me better than any other human would.